So trust is one of the most fundamental aspects of any human relationship, and it's the foundation on which we build our safety, our connection, and even our stability in the world. But without trust, our relationships will really struggle. Our communication breaks down, and we kind of live in a state of heightened anxiety. We never really quite feel safe with those people around us. Now, when you've experienced trauma in your past, trust can be almost impossible to achieve. So trauma kind of rewires the brain to prioritize survival, and it makes safety really unpredictable and seem a little bit unattainable. So when a person has been betrayed, abandoned, or harmed in any way, it's really difficult to let your guard down and to believe that someone else is going to be reliable. So why is trust so hard during the trauma response? Well, when you're triggered, there is a fight, flight, and freeze or fawn response. That kind of takes over your body. So this means that your rational thinking part of your brain, and I'm going to show you on this example of a brain here, your prefrontal cortex, which is the front part of the brain here, it's the CEO of the brain. It's what rules your brain. It's overpowered, and it goes into like survival mode, or cerebral atrophy, it's actually called. So what happens is that your amygdala, which is the two little glands just above your head, your ears, it's in control of our cortisol response, and our limbic system, which is our body, takes over, and everything kind of feels dangerous. So if you're experiencing trauma and you have a response and you're finding it really hard to work through this trust, you may feel that everyone around you is suspicious. You're suspicious of everyone, even if you love them. You assume people in your life will betray you, or they'll just let you down. You may struggle believing that no one will ever acknowledge or honor your feelings in the way you need. And you feel that you've got to control nearly every situation because you are going to avoid being hurt in every single aspect. You're just going to try and avoid it. And these experiences are really overwhelming. So you may feel really strong emotions like fear and anger and shame. And it's pretty difficult. Now, when trust is broken, it kind of violates our sense of safety. And that can happen by being betrayed, or there could be abuse. We could be neglected. We could be part of lies and dishonesty, or there can be some inconsistency in people's stories. And that makes everything really unpredictable for us. We don't like being unpredictable as humans. But is there a direct link to our childhood and trust? Yes, absolutely, most definitely. Because our first experiences happen to us in childhood. And if we kind of grow up with a consistent, loving, great background, parents were great, we learn that our world is safe. It's predictable. But if we have grown up in a world that's unreliable, it's neglectful, there's abuse, we develop anxiousness. We can also develop anxious or avoidant attachment patterns. And this will play out negatively in adulthood. So we'll struggle to believe anybody. We'll second guess. We'll assume everyone's got a hidden agenda. So trust is a really big issue. So the trust or the lack of trust will make us feel anxious or scared or fearful or depressed. So what do some people do? They'll move to breathwork. And yeah, there are great breathwork solutions available out there. But breathwork is sort of one option for lower level stress responses. But for high levels of activation or triggers, you will need several different specific trauma tools and techniques. And that's how it needs to be applied. This is all available in our trauma recovery method. If you struggle with moving to a food response, so you've had this overwhelming trigger and you go to food, we understand that for some people, that's their first response. So if you struggle with food, well, we have a nutritional coach and therapist, Carey. He's available to support, because we have to support our gut health and our body so that our brain can come on back online when we're doing these specific trauma recovery techniques and tools. And it kind of really affects your self-esteem. It affects your confidence. We know that. And that's why in our trauma recovery method, we have our wonderful resiliency confidence coach called Megan. We know our clients need tools, they need structure, they need process, and they need techniques to move through this overwhelming trauma. So I hope you enjoyed that talk on why trusting is so hard when we have a trauma response. Cheers then.